Okay, so the afternoon session deals with the model. So, as you know, in the morning we had the explanation about understanding your product, understanding your consumer, with the trend prediction, with the flavor ID. Now we're going to focus on the different models there are and on the output. Because what we want to obtain is an NPD process which is data-driven, which is agile, which understands your products, understands your consumer, and at the end is capable to predict accurate, the anticipated and the actual taste. So first part is about data-driven. In the meantime, you already know that, that we need data to make our conclusions. One important remark is that data availability means speed. So if you want to add speed to the process, it's important that we already have the data. One way because we do it ourselves. So definitely on US, Europe, we have a lot of data. We're building on capabilities. South of Europe, North of Europe, Canada, Mexico, Australia and Japan. But if you are interested to speed it up, it's also important that we can already take that data into account. So one way is that we collaborate with companies that already set their pipeline and their countries, and in advance we start to collect data, which then speeds up the line extension process. So one is about the data, other one is about the attributes. So what are the attributes that we extract from all this data? So you know already trend is one of them, but there are much more attributes that we extract. So there are four main CFI attributes which are used in a basic model. It's about the food pairing match, and popularity, trending, and associativity. So I will go through all those four attributes so you understand what they mean. So in the meantime, you know that we analyze food products, like in the case, for example, of Doritos. We know the aroma profile of Doritos, but of more than 3,300 ingredients also. And so we can compare the profiles and calculate the food pairing match. So for example, 22% food pairing match between Gouda and cheddar and Doritos, and 24% with the chili pepper. So that already is one attribute we use, the insight on how good is the match between the products. Because what we definitely want to have is that from a flavor perspective, the products need to match each other. It's not only looking at what ingredients are interesting for your consumer, but they also need to match your product. So that's the first attribute we take into account. And if we, to give you a few examples, so a very good food pairing match is, for example, black tea and lychee. That's almost 100%. Then we trickle down to grapefruit and cardamom, 90, to guava and mint, 65, and so on. And finally, we have, for example, kiwi and bell pepper. Kiwi and bell pepper don't have any synergy. So we're never going to present that combination because from a flavor perspective, it just doesn't work. First attribute is about the food pairing match. The second attribute, it is about the popularity. And popularity can mean popularity of different items. It can be the popularity of an ingredient. So how popular is Doritos? Can be the popularity about a combination, the combination of guacamole and Doritos. How popular is it? It can also be what taste. Is it spicy? Is it salty? Is it umami? How popular is that? And what type of cuisine is popular? So this is the type of information that we can extract from the recipes and the social media we analyze. For example, if we look at the data in Australia and we want to know what are the most popular ingredients in the application of smoothies? Well, these are some of the results. So the most popular, and that's not surprising, is banana, followed by blueberry, ginger, and so on. But like avocado is quite high for smoothies. And then at the other side of the picture, like licorice and rosewater are not at all popular at all. It's not because they're not popular at all that they cannot be added to a concept, because depending on what company, what your brand equity is, how novelty you want, maybe you want to add a twist to smoothies of something which is not popular, but maybe it is trending. So you can play with the attributes to see how they fit in your final concept. The other one is about trending. So in the meantime, you know how we apply the trending. And you just have lunch, so maybe let's do some interaction. So I have a few products with me. They're also here. So who is a candidate to rank the ingredients from most popular to least popular? No? Okay, so what do I have? I have elderflower, avocado, I have ginger ale, I have mezcal, I have hemp, I have hemp seeds from cannabis, I have tahini, I have almonds, and I have cardamom. What do you think is the most trending ingredients from all those?
Avocado, cannabis.
Cannabis, yeah. Cannabis is high. Avocado is also high. Elderflower. Yeah, actually, from all of these, elderflower is the most trending. Followed by almond, then cannabis and hemp. Then we go into the avocado. Let me check. I don't know exactly by heart. So after the hemp seeds, we go to ginger ale. Then we go to cardamom, ladyfingers, mezcal, avocado, and tahini. So even avocado is still trending, so it's high, but apparently the other ones are still are much more trending. So yeah. So specific for US and UK, we use this data. So the correct answer is we have the elderflower, then we have the almond, we have the cannabis. I know we have correct. I have the ginger ale, tahini, and avocado. And then, I think it's that way. Quick check. I don't know. Ginger ale, mezcal. Yeah, it's the other way around. So it's just an illustration of the data we can get out of the recipe and social media understanding we do. So if you would like to maybe bring an ice cream on the market, imagine you want to have like a familiar flavor and something trending. Well, elderflower could be a good idea to do. If you want to create a drink with a trending twist, like a mixer you would add on top, which is trending, then, for example, the ginger ale would be a good idea. Okay, so we already had food pairing match, so it gives us the insight in how well ingredients match based on the synergy, which gives you more like an objective overview of all possible combinations that you can make. But it's not because chocolate and soy sauce is the best food pairing match that you can make, that it's also the one that will be successful on the market. It will maybe work in Japan, because chocolate and soy sauce, it's already combined there. But if you would bring a chocolate and soy sauce on the market in Belgium, I'm not sure it will be that successful. Dominique Persone, a famous chocolatier in Belgium, he has a soy sauce and chocolate praline, but then it's more like a premium, and that's different. There, our people are looking for new and surprising combinations. But in a tablet form, it would probably not be that successful. So, and the last one, it is about associativity. Associativity, we have ingredient associativity, and it can be like how good is an ingredient associated to the summer, or to an application, or to an eating moment. So how good is the context linked to the ingredient? The other associativity we also have is a combo associativity, which is a bit similar like food pairing, but while food pairing is based on the science, that is based on which combinations are most popular. So to give you an example, like nutmeg and cinnamon are very much associated when we look in north of Europe, specific in frozen desserts. Then nutmeg and cinnamon, that's the most associated ingredient. Or cream and vanilla, or caramel and salt. Bit less, but still it is highly associated. The other hand of the spectrum, if you would combine pomegranate with blueberry in a frozen dessert application, that's much less associated. So depending on the brand you are, maybe you want to have something that people recognize, where they feel familiar to, and then you want to be here in combinations that people already recognize. Maybe not in your category, maybe in another category, but at least combinations that people know. If you have a target group of millennials that are looking for new, exciting combinations, then you should rather go into more like the less high associated ingredient, because you don't want something which is familiar, you want something which is surprising and new. So these are the four main attributes we always take into account to calculate the CFI score. But depending on the intelligence we add, they can be extended to almost 30 more attributes. But always those four will be in it. So you will have the scores. Of course, you will see interaction between the two. Something which is trending most likely will not be so popular. You can go to associativity and popular, the flavor itself, how good the food pairing match is, what the link is between an ingredient and a seasonality in associativity, or between emotions like summer or spring and associativity. So all this we can take into account and each get their individual score. For the people who already talked to Mark, one of the booths, so next to those four basic attributes, we want to have additional insights into what direction we should develop your line extension. One way of doing this is we look at, so we have the basic insight of your base product, so we know what are the best possible combinations with your base product. We already know what ingredients are on the market, so that means that we can map out already what flavor directions are taken a lot within your portfolio. And then we can look for gaps. And for example, if we look in this ice cream, herbal, there's no product in your portfolio that has clear herbal notes. The same for woody, for example. Woody is also not so. That can help you in defining white spaces. And from all those possibilities, you can select then, okay, let's go for herbal. And within herbal, what are the best matches within your base? Well, mint, tea, dill, and chamomile. Or for woody, maybe I should add some smoky ingredients, or I can add pine to the ice cream. It can be fresh pine leaves, which add more woody citrus notes. So we have the attributes, we also know what type of direction we want to go to, and there's also something we discuss with the client. Maybe you want to claim a space, maybe your signature is citrus and floral, and we should focus on that. Or maybe you want to go in a totally new direction, and then we can focus on the gaps within your portfolio or compare it with your competition and see in the market where there are still opportunities of aroma directions. Another one that we take into account, so all the concepts we present are always innovative, meaning that within your category, the line extension we propose will be never been on the market within your country. It will always be innovative because it's innovative flavor line extensions that increase your brand equity. But we also need to have an insight in how novel certain combinations are within a category. So if you, for example, take into account main dishes in UK, well, the novelty zero, so everybody knows, is a combination of salt, pepper, potato, and onion. So that's not at all novel. While, for example, a dish that contains the hemp seeds with bell pepper or paprika powder, trout, sweet cherry, apple vinegar, that's a combination that nobody has made before within of almost nowhere appears within the main dish. So that's very high a novelty score. So that's something we also take into account to see where you are. We can look into your portfolio and see what type of novelty score you have, because that will influence the type of concept we have to take into account. Questions? No? So first of all, we're data-driven. We need to have data to make the decisions. A few markets, we have a lot of data. Some markets we're working on. Secondly, from that data, we need to extract attributes, because those attributes will be fueled into the models to calculate the CFI score. We have different models. Models from low to high accuracy, and models that take mainly anticipated taste into account, of also models that take actual taste into account. So those are the four models. So we have a basic tactical model. We have a model where we add on top of it sales performance data. Then we have two machine learning models where we train a model to predict the anticipated taste, and a model also to add the actual taste, which is based on the flavor ID. So these are the goals that we set. We are not there yet, but it's the ambition to have 3 to 8 times more accurate predictions compared to the standard methods which are on the market. So let's start with the first model. The first model is the tactical model, and based on the insights we got from also the machine learning models and the concepts on the market, we extracted 3 types of concepts. First of all is familiar with a twist. The second is inspired in tradition, and the third one is funky new. And how do we define on what is a concept that you as a brand need to go to? It depends on the novelty. So for each brand, the optimal point of market share versus how novel you are is different. If you're more an innovative brand, probably the optimum will lie much further into how novel you have to be. In this case, it was 48%, but if it's higher, it will be more like funky new. This is more inspired in tradition. Familiar with a twist, and if it's lower, then it's more inspired in tradition. So depending on your current portfolio, we can extract how novel your portfolio is and on what type of concept we should work. Of course, you also can decide that the current concept or the current novelty is not what you aim for, that you want to go higher, and then we can adapt the concept. So, inspired in tradition, what does that mean? Inspired in tradition will take existing combinations from another category and apply it into your category where it was never applied before. So, for example, amaretto and cherry, it's a known combination within cocktails. But in ice cream, it was not known. So by applying this combination into ice cream is one possibility to add innovative line extension to your product. And what we see in the attributes, so again, we have the 4 basic attributes, is that we want to have something which is really popular, something really associated, so that people already recognize cherry and amaretto. Trending, that's not so important. It doesn't need to be trending. It needs to be familiar and recognizable, and the food pairing match should be high. So if we have these settings for the attributes, then we will obtain concept, inspire, and tradition, where we look for other categories and then apply that on your category. When you talk about familiar with a twist, for example, a drink that has mango passion fruit, which is familiar, and a twist, which is maca root. So in the familiar, you will see, again, the same settings as inspired in tradition, high in popularity, high in associativity, trending can be lower, and high in food pairing match. But the twist is an innovative twist, because we have to make an innovative line extension. So we have to add something to a combination already very much known within the smoothies. And for example, that was found in the maca root. So you see that in the settings, it is trending which is important, and food pairing match. It doesn't need to be popular, at the contrary. And also, the associativity can be low. It's something that people have never seen before. So this is a surprising twist to a classic combination within smoothies. And then when it's funky new, then all the ingredients needs to be like the twist. So high in trending, high in food pairing match, but low in popularity and low in associativity. So let's check. So what type of concept do you think this is? So we have inspired in tradition, familiar with a twist, or funky new. What do you think? What type of concept is this? Anybody? I want to throw this. Yeah, familiar with a twist? Yeah? Yeah, well, indeed. So, pear in a yogurt is already known, but you give a twist with the cardamom. Strawberry in yogurt is known, but you add it with the basil. You have green tea, and you add a twist of cocoa and peppermint. The next one. So we have a white Russian ice cream, we have a yogurt with pumpkin spices, and we have an Oreo with banana splits. Yeah, this is born in tradition. So it's from a cocktail world. You apply it into an ice. Pumpkin spices are known within pie. You apply it on a yogurt, and banana split is a known dessert, but you apply it on a cookie. So that brings us to the last one, which is then the funky new. So, for example, this is a soy sauce with chocolate, or yogurt with tomato, or like the green coffee. So these are the more funky, surprising combinations that we don't find in other categories or in your category. So that was the first basic model. So we look at which of the three concept fits best your brand, and then we have the basic settings, and we apply that on the data. The second possibility is that we add more data, and more specific is that we're going to look into your category, and we look for sales data, sales for the coverage, for the time on the market, and then we will construct a sales performance, and we will apply that on top of the attributes. For example, here you have the sales performance, and here you have the popularity. We try to find a correlation between the sales performance and the range of attributes. So for example, you see here that the there's a positive correlation for, so each point is a product, and each color is a different brand. So for the red brand, we found a positive correlation between the sales performance and the popularity. For some, like in this case, we found a negative correlation between the trend and the sales performance. So then we can adapt the attributes, their weights, and the optimal ranges, so to better fit your portfolio. The third one is a step higher because it's a trained machine learning model, where we in the first step go for the anticipated taste. So how does that work? So again, we will start from unstructured data, so the text mining that Thomas told about. So we have unstructured data, but it should include hints or information about the appeal or the clicks or the rating of recipes. So from example recipes, we will extract the ingredients, we will link them to our ingredient database, and we will add again metadata like cuisine, type of dish, and so on. So the first step is again to have this data in a structured way. Then from that data, we're going to extract the attributes. So attributes like popularity, trending, familiarity, novelty are extracted. And so these extracted features from our basic information and the rating or the appeal of that those recipes and information, this is combined to actually train a model. So the idea is that the model is capable to predict the rating which was given to recipes or the appeal to concepts. And once we have that model, then it's great, because then we can plug concepts into the model, extract attributes, put it to the model, and get a CFI score. And on anticipated taste, we're also having an accuracy higher than 70%. So for 7 out of 10, we can predict how it will be liked or disliked. And once we have that model and we do iterations, or we have new data available, we can continuously improve that model and increase the accuracy. The last one is that we want to predict the actual taste, and there again we use the flavor ID. This is an example on beer. So as you know, we have to understand the consumer, so that means that we need to know the flavor ID, which is based on questionnaires or ratings or shopping data. We need to understand the products. Imagine a set of a few thousand beers, and this is put through the recommender, and then the recommender can predict which of the existing beers that you would like or dislike, or also new concepts. So again, we can put concepts through this funnel, combine it with the appeal, and again get next to the actual taste also the anticipated taste, which the combination would give the best score or the best accuracy to predict how successful a product is. So, know your product, know your consumer. We have 4 models, a tactical model, a model that takes sales data into account, a model that, an AI model that predicts the anticipated taste. So if you are in front of a shelf, which one will you take? But then also in the 4th model, add the actual taste. So if you taste it, you will actually become a repeat and loyal customer. To make this a bit more tangible, we applied a tactical model on chocolate in the market. So you see some chocolates there. So the idea is, well, Mark will explain to you what we're going to do.
Okay, perfect. So, considering France market, we checked chocolate data. We select pastry, dessert, and confectionery categories for inspiring applications. And then we decided to go for inspired in tradition kind of type of concepts and see how well some existing products in the market react into this CFI model. So here in the RAG, we have some examples. We would like to do kind of a quiz that I think Bernard will set up. So because we would like you to try to guess what would be the CFI score of some products. So now you have some ideas or insights about how the process works. But yeah, for example, I think, and I want to show some that we are going to use in the quiz. But for example, we can have an idea of Godiva. Here we have a you have a chocolate with honey and almond. It gets a 75% CFI score in France. Most likely, these 3 ingredients. Yeah, we will show up some other examples with that data. But we have almond is popular, is well associated with pastry, desserts, and chocolate categories. Food pairing match between chocolate, almonds, and honey is quite high. So it makes sense that in an inspiring tradition type of concept, this combination will be higher because all the attributes will fit more likely into the ranges that Bernard talked about. So we'll have high associativity, high popularity. Trendy here is not that important because it's inspiring tradition, but maybe some of these ingredients are trendy. Like Bernard said, almond could be one of them. And then food pairing match is higher. We always set up that food pairing match should be as high as possible. And then the other metrics can vary or diverge a little bit according to the market or the type of concept. So to make this a bit more interactive and you can see how well you understood the process and the CFI product, I would like you to invite that you can use your smartphone. I think you all have a connection, Wi-Fi. And I would like you to write kahoot.it in your Safari, Google Chrome, Firefox, or something. And you need to write, OK, we have someone quite fast. And then you need to put this code. You will see a screen. And then it will ask for this code. Then you can put your nickname or name, what you want. OK, we have some players already. So yeah, for doing this, remember that we are using France. So if you have some insights about the consumer behavior in France, this could be useful. Trend data for France also. And then, of course, popularity associativity in desserts, confectionery products in France. Somebody missing to log in? No? Everybody? OK. So then I think we can start. You will see 3 concepts. So what is the CFI score of dark chocolate with chili sauce, chili pepper, in the French market? So you need to, in your screens, you will see 4 icons, that each one belongs to different ranges, CFI ranges, and you can push the one that you believe is the most accurate. Then we will, I think we can, OK. OK, so it's quite, there's no consensus, so it's a bit of everything, OK? I think at the end of the game, we can go to the slides and we will see who made the good choice or who made the... yeah, Okay, I can, yeah, okay. This is the right choice, but then afterwards we will see the metrics and you will understand why this is the proper metric, proper CFI score to this chocolate, dark chocolate and chili pepper combination. So we can, I think Alice was the fastest probably to decide. So I think we can move to the next combination, which is milk chocolate and whole hazelnuts. Okay, much better. I think this was more obvious combination. Good. So we still have Alice in the top one. And now we can move to the third concept, which is milk chocolate, almond, and candied lemon peel, like confited lemon peel. So it's 3 ingredients instead of 2. I hope they are not here. You cannot see here. No. Okay, so here we have some, yeah, it was a bit tricky. So we had these 3 being the most, yeah, these 2, and okay. That was good. It was an example. So now we will see the 3 slides. We can see actually in the other computer probably, yeah. But yeah, I would like some of you would be interested of sharing why would you believe that dark chocolate and chili pepper is the lowest. I think it was rated the lowest. Global, yeah. So yeah, before I explain why this CFI score fits the chocolate or something, if someone, most likely you would decide based on your knowledge, your work in food industry, so your knowledge, your, I don't know, maybe some memories or associations, or maybe when you go to the supermarket, what you see there. So all this knowledge that you have, you try to express in a CFI score. So this is also what we try to do. We try to bring this consumer behavior into something that it's quantified. So the ones, some of you, I think, make a good rating. So some of you could say why you rated this the lowest one. Alice, maybe?
I think because chili is it's quite popular, not very popular. Okay. I think chili is an interesting product because it's quite popular, but still special for the chocolate category. So in terms of associativity, I would say rather low, but in terms of popularity, rather high.
Okay, so for example, yeah, so we have here the dark chocolate, which has some attributes. With this, yeah, we are using chocolate context, so it's high popularity, high associated. But as you said, popularity can be more popular nowadays. Chili pepper, it's getting quite popular in Europe. France is responding also into that last year's trendy about the spicy food. But as you said, the associativity between the ingredients is lower. So it's around 50%, which is medium low, I would say, for inspired in tradition type of concepts. That means that the combination of these 2 ingredients together, instead of them alone, in these 3 applications that we used, desserts, pastry, and confectionery, is lower. And if you remember what Bernard explained about the type of concept, for inspired in tradition, we want the highest popularity, the highest associativity, and then if it's high in trendy, it's okay, but it's not mandatory, and then the highest we can in food pairing match. So indeed, chili pepper is interesting, is popular, but we also have here, like there is a low where food pairing match between dark chocolate and chili pepper that most likely we will see between almonds or hazelnuts or other products. So this makes that the final combination, when we put all these insights and metrics together, it gives a lower score than the other ones. And mainly because it's low in associated and it has a lower food pairing match than the other products. Of course, here you also see that the associativity with the context, not only this is with ingredients, so with chocolate and chili pepper together, and here you see also the context. It's a bit lower probably that we will see for other ingredients. So it means that chili in pastry, in desserts, and in confectionery, it is still not as common as we will see for other products. So good for the ones that make the good one. That was a bit tricky. And then we had the second one. I think this one was the most, I think most of you make a good, decide the good range. It's 86. If we have in mind the previous one, here we see milk chocolate is a thing. It's a slightly more popular than dark. I think it's, I don't know, it's a bit more trendy. Yeah, it's less trendy than dark chocolate in France. But then what will make the difference here is we see much higher food pairing match between hazelnuts and milk chocolate. But also, the key parameter also is the associativity again. So we see that hazelnut and milk chocolate are much more associated together in these three applications than chili peppers and chocolate. So by this means that these two ingredients are much more familiar than the previous one. The previous one could be more surprising, or maybe still with other ingredients could go to more familiar with a twist, or maybe in another market could fit into traditional, inspired in tradition. But for France, chili pepper is still not that popular to be part of an inspired in tradition type of concept. So this is why we see that hazelnut has a higher food pairing match, is much more associated with milk chocolate. It has a higher CFI score when we merge all these input and metrics together into this type of concepts. So I think this one, I think it was clear. And then for this one, I think we had some of you have some dupes. So some of you put above 70, and some of you put below 70. Here, again, we have two ingredients that are quite popular. So we could say that chocolate and almond are quite popular, associated, so traditional combination. Here, the metrics might differ a little bit. So if we compare, for example, almond and hazelnuts, we see, so trend for hazelnut apparently is 70%, and trend for almond is slightly, it's less trendy than hazelnuts. So this will have an impact at the final CFI score because it's a less trendy ingredient. Then food pairing match. With the chocolate, we see that almond is quite similar to hazelnut, so it's 80-something%, which is okay. But if we compare internally, when we put all the ingredients together, so lemon peel, almond, and milk chocolate, we have an internal food pairing match of 71%, which is lower than 86% we had before. So it will have lower score in the total CFI score. And here the additional ingredient is candied lemon peel. So it's lemon peel. This was the tricky point of this combination because, you can see lemon peel is quite popular. As we see here, it's a bit less associated in the context of pastry, confectionery, and desserts than would be almond. So this would make the score a little bit lower. The associativity with ingredients is quite high, so it's not influencing that much. But again, what we see that it's making the total CFI score getting lower, it's also the CFI score. If we compare almond, hazelnuts with chocolate compared to lemon peel is less, ideally is less, it has less synergy or aromatic match with ingredients. So this will make the score a bit lower. And also, it's not trendy at all. So it's one of these, lemon is one of these ingredients that is popular, but it's not triggering anyone in those days. So this is why this combination, it's a bit slightly slower. It's like 86 to 68. But here you also need to consider that the more ingredients we add when we develop concepts, the more difficult it is that all the ingredients match to all the ranges that we want. So the more ingredients, the more difficult it is to get more higher CFI score. Usually above 86%, it's quite good and quite difficult to have it, unless you have only like 2 ingredients and really common like the chocolate or hazelnut, which it's not going to be the most innovative product probably, so it's not the most interesting concept, but it's quite high in a CFI score. So I think from here you get an idea why these numbers, where the CFI score, how the CFI score is built. But yeah, if you have any questions, any comments about how this is built, there we have more options, more chocolate tablets that you could have a look and see some scores from there. I think most of them are around 70, 60, 70, which is quite nice. If we consider between 60 and 75, it means that it's a good accuracy and good CFI score. And if you see the combinations, there is like no super weird combinations for inspired in tradition. Yeah. Here we see chocolate, caramel, salt. Of course, it's a combination that has been popular the last years, but it's not as solid as other combinations, as hazelnut chocolate, for example. So we still see a good CFI score here, but of course it's less because the popularity, the associativity of these combinations is less than with other products like hazelnut or almonds.